First, let's talk about inheritance. Inheritance is somewhat similar to inheriting things from older family members, from your ancestors. Although I will say it's a lot more like inheriting a genetic trait than it is inheriting their money, because the parent object, as it's called, doesn't have to die for you to get the inheritance. So, um, a parent object can coexist with the child object, still inheriting those capabilities. As with many object-oriented programming concepts, this is probably best explained using an example. So if we have a vehicle class, a class called vehicle, and it has a method called drive, and it has, let's say, a property called gas that indicates how much gas is left in the tank. Okay, so that's our parent class. That's moderately useful, but let's say we are going to create a program for a big company to keep track of all of its vehicles. And that company has two types of vehicles. It has trucks and it has cars. The cars are just for people to drive around for the company, and the trucks are actually there to transport the company's products around. You got to keep track of both types. And they're kept track of for a couple of different purposes, right? We want to keep track of where the trucks are. We want to keep track of how much stuff they're carrying. So there's a little bit more involved than just the car. So we use that vehicle class as a parent class. And from that, we create two child classes. Those child classes use the parent class as a starting point, as a model. And then they extend that class by adding some additional things for some of the child classes. For example, the truck class might need a method called load up, where we load up the truck. And it might need a property called payload that represents how much stuff you can put in the truck. Now, the truck class has those two defined in its own class. But because the truck is based on vehicle, it also inherits the drive method and the gas property. So it has all four of these properties, two by virtue of inheritance and two by virtue of definition within the class itself. The car class, though, is a little bit more generic, because all we really needed to keep track of is how much gas it has and whether it's driving or not, right? So the car class, while it's based on vehicle, does not extend vehicle. It just specifies a type of vehicle, which is a car. Okay, so the only property and method that it has, according to this model, is drive and class. So that is inheritance. Inheritance says we're creating a model, and then we're creating subclasses or child classes based on that model that will then inherit some of those things.